We've been fed this technique online for so long of just drawing lines on your face and kind of just hoping everything is going to be okay. I had a comment recently that I thought was a really good teaching point where somebody was like, how do I fit everything on my face? There's blush, highlight, contour, bronzer. How do I get it all on there, even if I have a smaller face? And that's what I want to show you today. First off, we're going to start by saying you absolutely don't need to do all of that at all. But if you do want to, this is going to be the best way to do it, and it's not drawing lines down your face. We need to stop that.
Okay, so I kind of want to talk about where this kind of like drawing on the face situation comes from, because it's a very like something we see all the time. And as someone who's been in the beauty industry for a long time, this has never been the norm. And it's very much social media that made it a normal thing to do, right? So when we look at this face, we see the lines, we see every single line everywhere, even on these, which we don't see so much in makeup now, like around the brow, this darker line under the brow too, and then the highlight. But what this is from a very famous book. This is from Making Faces by Kevin Kwan, who is the famous makeup artist, also the brand name. But I just want to draw your attention to this paragraph here. Well, let's talk about this bit first. It separates the dark and the light colors. So dark colors shade and make areas recede. So basically explaining what the dark areas do. And we have the light areas, explaining what the light areas do. We know this now. Highlight, contour, recede, de-seed, which we know. But I want to draw your attention to this. So this says, this photo is really an illustration of the contours of the face. The application is exaggerated and not to be taken too literally. It's just to show how the highlighting and contouring, in brackets, when sparingly applied and carefully blended, can add definition to the face. You can use this photo to understand your own bone structure and make the most of it. Practice at home in daylight and test your progress. You may never do this for everyday life, but for special occasions and photographs, it can really make a difference. So he's explaining that this kind of contour thing, this is just a graph to show you where you can highlight and contour, not to literally be like, draw these lines in your face. So this has kind of been like grossly misconstrued. It says either apply these products directly from the tube with a brush or use your fingertips. Blend with your fingers for a sponge. For a sponge? Oh, for a sponge. While blending, concentrate on keeping the product in the general area where it was applied, but use enough to eliminate any obvious lines. What does it say? Concentrate on keeping the product in the general area where it was applied. So you're concentrating on keeping the product in these areas, not literally laying down the product, as it says here, apply to a brush, and then blending that out. So for this to be taken so literally by, not just like consumers, by makeup artists as well. There are other makeup artists that have used this method and made it like, shown it as an example, like this is what they learned from this book, and this is what they do on clients and stuff like that. So again, it literally says in this book not to be taken too seriously. So let's just remember that, and bear in mind as well, this is actually a technique by using and drawing this on the face. And when we say leave it on the face to kind of like bake or kind of to get warmer and a little bit thicker, this is a technique that drag queens use to feminize their face. So let's just bear that in mind.
So I'm going to show you, I'm going to use these. These are from KBeauty, and I have a blush. These are actually both bronzers, but I'm going to use one of them as a contour. Bought these myself. And the highlighter I'm going to use is going to be the Buttermelt highlighter from NYX. This was gifted to me. Okay, now I'm going to show you with dots first of all, although I don't believe we should be doing dots on the face, but I want to show you positioning of where everything should be, okay? And the different kind of areas where blusher and bronzer need to be, and contour needs to be, and explaining why they are in this areas. I actually really like to do bronzer first. Bronzer to me is almost like the transition into your contour and into your blush. And it comes out a little bit further. So in terms of like distance, this is how I like to do bronzer. These are the areas where I feel bronzer should cover, and same again on the other side of the face. But of course, we blend it into that area. And we make sure we don't blend it any further than, I always take the middle of the eyes as a guideline. So don't bring it in any further into the center of the face, because it starts to close everything up. You can do a little bit of bronzer up here if you have a longer face like me. And you can do a little bit on the nose, down the sides of the nose if you want to. Oh, I'm going to be doing it on one side of the face. Contour. Now, contour is when we're mimicking shadow of our bone structure, right? So we're either enhancing where our natural bone structure sits, or we're faking where that bone structure sits. But I always believe that contour should be here. I'm just going to represent contour with a big circle. That's where we're going to apply our contour. Now, I will show you how to blend this all in and how to do everything, but I just want to show you positioning first. Blush is going to be another one here. Now, what we do need to also bear in mind is everyone's face shape is different, but this is a good guide for everyone in general. If you just want to quick out the door, do it. Because all we're talking about is positioning and how far not to bring it in and out. This is something I would do on bridesmaids, right? I've just done the bride's makeup, final touches, and I have 2 more bridesmaids to do. Eyes, we take a lot of time. Skin prep, we take time so we know everything is going fine. Foundation, we get it on. And then this basic guideline for bridesmaids, because it suits everyone's face. And you have starting points where you can then blend out into, right? Now, highlight is actually going to go on top of a blush. So almost like this. Okay, now we're probably looking at this and thinking, that's kind of insane. But I'm going to talk you through it now to be a little bit more in depth. We're still going to use the same products. That was just a quick, this is where it should go. Okay, bronzer. Bronzer is the halo. Bronzer is the, okay, we have this down. So I'm bringing my bronzer in this whole area, not past this invisible line we have on our face. I'll fade that in. Now looking at this side of my face, we only want our bronzer to be here, really. And tapping into place, don't feel like you have to blend out everything into like absolute oblivion, right? And I'm tapping my brush. And then smoothing over. You go a little bit too far, like I did then, bit of your foundation brush and just buff in. Not any excess foundation, just what we already have. Bronzer, done. It already gives us some definition. It gives us some sculpting, but that's the only places you need to take your bronzer. If you have a longer face, you can curve it upwards like this. If you have a shorter face, go down like this way, almost like the direction my beard's going. Contour. This is actually a great contour shade, and the product I used before was Contour 2. So I'm hoping this shows up properly. So we're applying it, I'm doing it to enhance my cheeks. So we apply it in that kind of dot area. So keeping it in this area as high up as we can. And then I'm pushing into place. So this dot is representing where we're blending it. We're pushing it into that one area. So we still get that definition, can you see? And my lighting actually really helps. My lighting makes it look like I have amazing cheek filler. And we're adding products as we go. That's one thing, when you're drawing lines all over your face, you have to blend what's there. You can't decide if you want to add or take away. Now that I've blended that in, I'm happy. I'm actually going to take it down a little bit more, not adding any excess product. So we have an extra bit of sculpting on the face here. But you can literally keep it, if you don't have a room, push it into that one area. Up and opposite there, our blush. This is such a beautiful color. This is a shade I'm Guilty. Ooh, sassy. I like to use powder brushes for liquid blush, and I just like to bounce it. I'm kind of, you know when you do that trick with a pen, and you're like, oh, look at this wobbly pen. Imagine doing that, but like this way. So I'm holding my brush kind of like this, and I'm just letting it flap. I'm just letting it flap, 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 flap. And tapping it into that one area. This is very much what I call like a mauvey raspberry shade. So I'm tapping, and now that is kind of like tapped in, I'm just going to go around the edges of where we've tapped it in. And this is where you can decide where you go from here. Do you want it up further? Do you want it down? I like to bring mine a little bit up, so no extra product. I'm just taking what we have already, and I'm taking it up towards the hairline. So now we have our bronzer, we have our contour, and we have our blush. So you can see, we're bronzed in the whole area. We're contoured, and our blush is here. And it really does just look like we have on a nice blush, and we have some definition underneath, right? Highlight. Now, highlight definitely doesn't have to be a line on the face. We know that. So what I like to do, and a lot of you will know this already, I look for the highest point of my cheekbone. I always imagine if your cheekbone was a triangle coming out from here to here, where the highest point go? Where's the highest point? And does it capture the light? And it does, very much so on me. So I'm going to tuck a little bit of highlight there, just a dot. And I always tuck a little bit under my eye makeup in this outside corner, just to bring some brightness to that area. And then tap it in. We're not blending just yet. We're not moving it around just yet. We're just tapping, tapping, tapping. So you can see we get that high point of highlight. Now it's up to you. Do you want to take it a little bit further up? A little bit further out? But I just like to tap, tap, tap. You don't always have to like rub, rub, rub for things to be blended in. And we get that really nice pinpoint. Now I have a spot underneath. You get that really nice pinpoint highlight, you see? And you can go around the edges and buff it out a little bit more once all the color's concentrated in that one area. So that's layered on top of our blush, our contour and our bronzers there. Let me blend all this in so you can see on both sides. Oh, we're gonna have a bit of trouble there with our highlight actually. That's fine. Let me tell you as well, this is why I don't like people drawing on the face and then like leaving it for a long time, because you can actually see, can you still see there's remnants of dots on the face and you have to spend more time blending out, which means a little bit of time ruining your foundation. So you don't want to leave things hanging around on the skin for ages. That's why people leave like concealer and stuff on the skin for a while, because when it does warm up to your skin temperature, you do get that longevity and that really good pigmentation. There you go. That's all blended. Doesn't look overcrowded, doesn't look overwhelming, but there's everything on the face. Now, a few other areas we can do a little bit of highlight if we want to. We can take it back a few years and do our highlight on the like key point under the arch of our brow. Just to add a tiny bit of definition there. Don't do just a line though, do fade it out a bit more. And the cupid though, on top of your lip color is beautiful. Probably should have done that before my lip color, but also on the inside corner of your eye makeup here. Just to add a bit of a glow, a bit of a shine. It's super simple. That's a really quick video. How long did that take? 12 minutes? Really, really simple and easy. You don't have to use everything on the face. But my key point to maybe take away from this is when you're applying color product on the face, don't draw it in lines and run out of room. Don't think about blending it out everywhere. Tap into place in small areas. Then when the majority of the color is laid down, then you can start to blend and move out. And add as much color as you like. I like everything nude, neutral, natural. So that's what I did. Just want to mention as well, Makeup Mondays, which was the thing I was trying to do. Well, I was going to do more makeup stuff. I'm changing it up a little bit because not many people watch. So it'll be product reviews as well as other makeup related things, but also physically putting the makeup on and trying it. All right. Thank you so much for joining me. Consider subscribing. Give this video a thumbs up. I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Sorry that was so quick.